Perfect. All right. Video by Harmful Opinions addressing the allegations. We're kind of jumping into the middle of something here. Long story short, I believe he's in some, or is or was in some sort of issue thingy with a VTuber named Skittybitty, who I believe is trans or something, and was acting ignobly to some extent. Kind of like I think the main thing that they were doing was they were kind of on their channel. I believe they were kind of Chad yesing people coming after them because they're gay or trans or whatever the crap, and then in private they were telling people on their Discord to go and attack them. Now, high school drama, but like I said, I don't know if it's high school drama. We'll see, but I thought it'd be interesting to look at this one. So let's get into this.
The video is called A Lesson in Manufacturing Outrage Online. It's by Edgierthanrhou, and the thumbnail says, Spotting a Liar. If I skip anything...
Oh, yeah. Okay, I can't tell, like, what is this thing in the background? Is it supposed to be like the pendulum to a clock or something? I don't know.
I'll tell you what I skipped, and you can go look yourself. I'll link it below. Let's see what
I'm assuming this is some sort of reference to something, but, you know.
Our guy has to say.
You know, I take it back. I don't know.
Hey, folks. In recent years, I've become increasingly disillusioned.
Evil! Evil! Look at the lighting. I believe that is what the kids are dubbing bisexual lighting. No, I don't know where that exactly originated, but it does feel like that there were... Maybe it's just that there was a certain type of person who would use this type of lighting. I don't know if it's like the neon or whatever the crap type of thing they got going on. I don't know. To be fair, it might be advantageous or something like that. I'm not for sure if it would help like cover blemishes or whatever the crap, or alter one's kind of facial features a little bit in a way that's advantageous for film. I don't know. For the record, there's probably a reason people use it.
Internet culture.
Disillusioned with internet culture. What sort of esteem did you ever hold it in? Thank you to the people.
See, like, I don't know. I've heard multiple kind of opinions on the notion of like the good that is done by people like drama tubers getting involved in scenarios, and I'm not saying it's never useful, but I also think there's a reason why the court system exists, and I think it exists primarily so that like due process, I tend to think exists like to get all of the information under one roof, so you can cross-reference everything. And I feel like online, that process is rarely carried out in such a rigorous fashion as it is in the real world. So I'm not saying like online discourse, especially as an alternative, like a last resort for people who can't get any sort of legal, whatever the crap, taken care of. I'm not saying it's never good to go public. I just feel like too many times it perhaps ends up like a lynch mob. Like people who think they have the right end of things, taking action that is perhaps more extreme than is warranted, or just not doing their due diligence, I guess. And again, you don't have that sort of, let's get all the information under one roof and we can get witness testimonies, we can cross-reference stuff and see who's lying. That feels like it is kind of the primary way you check whether or not someone is lying. You try to reconcile it with everything else that's going on.
Who sent this to me have a feeling this will be great.
And people's willingness to manufacture and fuel drama for the sole purpose of milking content and attention.
This is very nice. This is very...
Again, I'm not saying this never happens. Yeah. I'm not saying it's never good what happens, but I kind of commiserate a little bit with what he's talking about. Not entirely. And it feels like perhaps the type of people who express his sentiments are all too often are the individuals at the epicenter of something that they really don't want publicized, so they might have a number of motivations to be so down on the online discourse type thing, the online discourse sphere of YouTubers or whatever the crap.
Refreshing. Normally when people talk about me, my viewers, they complain because my output is so low. I'll just go a month without making a video because
Boo!
I don't feel like it. I won't argue with them. I am a content god.
For the purposes of this video, I don't want or need you to care about the drama we're discussing in and of itself.
Yeah, I believe that this guy really wants people not to care. Seems about right.
What I want to draw your attention to are some of the patterns on display that hopefully you will watch out for moving forward, whether in internet drama, political theater, or douchebag coworkers.
Dear audience, here's what to do if your coworkers start acting like harmful opinions and talking about how you've been weird with a kid.
Mm-hmm. I hope that's not like exactly a generalized experience that everyone has.
Alright, dude, let's hear your strats.
I think I've set a reasonable standard on this channel, but just to catch you up so that you understand where I come from, I try not to take most internet beef super seriously. I'll make a little fun of people when they try and fail to debunk me or whatever.
No need to ever say this. Just behave in such a way. Right now, you're simply broadcasting that you have issues. Show, don't tell. Embody, don't posture.
But it's...
That's true. So, like, I guess I have a hard time sometimes with people, like, telling the difference between, like, being methodical versus ostentation. Because I feel like I tend to be, like, one of the least methodical individuals in the world. When people are kind of like, this is how I feel things, and this is how I do things, and this is the way it, like... I'm not for sure whether they're just being braggadocious or some crap, or if that's just me being kind of bringing my own bias into it, because I don't think I tend to be that way. I don't know.
It's not all that deep. Ultimately, no matter how gross I think their beliefs are, the person on the other end is still a human being, and I don't want to be like a source of torment for someone.
Do you think you could be? Where do you guys find these people?
No, it's actually kind of maybe good. There are people who, like, I feel like, I'm not saying they could never be dangerous, but it feels like their anger only ever really rises to the level of, like, petulance, kind of a petty little anything, whatever. Like, I don't know if they could muster up the zeal with which to do really any real damage, I guess. I don't know. That tends to be my perception of some people.
This is the yin to Skittybitty's yang.
I think these people need to learn the meaning of fear.
Like, they're, like, profoundly unintense individuals. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if they feel things that to the extent that they could actually muster up some sort of violent urge.
People are getting way too bold.
This is the VTuber. I'm assuming it's this thing. All right.
I think these people need to learn the meaning of fear. People are getting...
And see, this person, like, this feels like it's not mutually exclusive with this. You'll have people who talk very big when they're alone, when they're in a scenario where they have absolute control. They will behave a very specific sort of way, but you put them in a sort of real-world scenario. You put them in a conversation with someone they disagree with, and they're kind of the most... They'll fold like a cheap suit, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Now, maybe I'm not the person who should be lecturing on this. I like to think that most times I'm not super malleable in that regard. I don't know. Maybe that's just wishful thinking.
way too bold saying disgusting shit on the internet.
Point being, I have no inherent issue with the decision to make a video about someone you don't like very much. That is completely in bounds.
Thanks for your permission. I appreciate it.
I do.
Sorry. Okay.
The point being, I have no inherent issue with the decision to make a video about someone you don't like very much. That is completely in bounds.
Okay, am I reading this wrong, or is this guy some sort of gay-bo? Like, I was just watching the way he was, like...
Issue with the decision to make a video about someone you don't like very much. That is...
Eye roll. That's what was setting me off, I think.
Completely in bounds.
Thanks for your permission. I appreciate it.
I do, however, have a problem with how certain people do it.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being a little bit prejudiced there.
Content warning for discussions of sexual abuse.
Why? Is this going to be another one of those...
Alright, so, again,
Do it. Content warning for discussions of sexual abuse.
Why?
Okay.
Is this going to be another one of those, this person's been raped so they can do whatever they want, people? Had enough of that with the Lollicons, man.
The subject of our response today is a YouTuber who calls himself Harmful Opinions. This is
Mm-hmm.
He's a YouTuber who primarily makes anti-woke drama slop.
He says with videos shitting on Leaflet, Tectone, and Chibi reviews on screen.
And his most recent drama content
Scrolling down to videos shitting on Nux Taku, videos about plagiarism.
surrounds Nintendo content creator Skittybitty.
Scrolls down to me shitting on Candace Owens and David Wood. Are you blind? Did you look at what...
Yeah, we actually watched the David Wood one. It was a pretty good video. I don't know if I agree with him necessarily on everything, but still.
you were screen capping? Or is that anti-woke to you? As before, it's refreshing though, and normally I get called a Hassan suck-up.
Hopefully that's an accurate characterization.
Yeah, I don't know. He seems generally like an equal opportunity pisser or offerer. I don't know. He pisses off everyone equally. Goes after everyone equally. I don't know. I don't mean to glaze harmful opinions, but I wouldn't put him in the category of being like super partisan.
Sure, buddy. Okay.
We're going to do something a little bit unusual by watching his videos in reverse. Actually, after writing most of this script...
You scripted this? This is a poor performance already if you're going off the top of the dome, like I do in my vids. I just sit down, talk for 10, 20 minutes, whatever, depending.
See, I don't know, I have kind of mixed feelings about the whole notion of scripting. Like, I think at some point... I guess I don't know. It's probably fine. Like, it's still your authentic feelings. It can maybe come off sometimes as inauthentic, but yeah, I think it's probably all right. I think in this case, harmful opinion is just criticizing the fact that it's a video that sucks, and he also scripted it. I generally Again, I think it's fine to do so. I generally don't. I come up with a kind of a short outline of maybe what I want to talk about, and I'll read over it before I do the kind of monologue at whatever the crap. If I have an idea I want to express, in any case, that's kind of how I do it. Like, I don't write down exactly what I want to say and then read it off as I'm doing it. Generally speaking. No, pretty much always. I don't know if I've ever been actually like reading off of a script while I'm doing the video.
It's a bit different. I'm playing the video, talking, but you get what I'm saying.
He's released now a fourth video on this supposed drama that I will not be responding to. Just keep in mind, as soon as the next...
Sorry, I'm just thinking about this. I think sometimes I do actually write down mostly what I want to say. But again, I don't think I'm reading off something. Sorry, we'll get back to... I digress.
Sentence in this video that I wrote most of this before he made even more content off of it. Unsurprisingly, this is a guy who loves the opportunity to keep a drama going for multiple videos.
Yeah, that's fair enough. If shit keeps going, I'll keep talking.
And in this case, he unwittingly
poisoning the well. No.
Gives the game away.
To be fair, I don't know if I can really judge people on that. I quite often go off on people before I get into the actual reaction. So I don't know if it's I don't know. I feel like maybe it's possible to be too forensic about that sort of thing.
Pretty transparent, man. I see stuff that compels me to make a video, I make a video. People talk back or something happens, I talk more.
This video is titled Skittybitty versus Parental Consent.
The first complaint is that I supposedly left important information out of my coverage when I talked about it. And you know what? Fair enough, you're right, I did. The second complaint is more of an accusation that I'm trying to make Skittybitty look like a nonce, that I'm pedo-jacketing. You seem to have misunderstood.
Nonce. I think I like both nonce and pedo-jacketing. They're kind of nice terms. I have to incorporate them somehow. Hopefully I don't have to incorporate them into my everyday lingo. That would be unfortunate, but
I showed Skittybitty doing that to other people, while I went out of the way to say nothing of that kind of stuff was happening in that Discord. Not everything that is inappropriate with kids is sexual. It is nonetheless still inappropriate. And on top of all of that, the details I cut out when talking about it.
It's like, I don't know, it feels like, just don't let your kids be on. Maybe it feels like a little authoritarian, but I feel like generally speaking, again, I tend to think of it in terms of, okay, the worst person in your town, think of that person, right? Now think of that like an extrapolation of that to the worst individuals you've ever heard about in the entire world. That is what you're sending your kid into online. That's the potential, at least, involved. And it feels like it's the notion of letting your kids like completely unsupervised, unregulated online. It would be akin to just bad parenting wise to leaving your child on a street corner in New York City. Like that's kind of what I would compare it to as far as like negligence. So, yeah, I don't know.
Were cut out for the purpose of harm reduction. What I omitted was something that makes Skitty look a little pedo-y.
Okay, I have two things to say here. First, my standard vis-a-vis internet pedojacketing. It's bad.
Very agreeable, sure.
You shouldn't implicitly or explicitly accuse people of serious crimes simply because you think they're bad people.
It's not just of doing a crime, it's of being in an unacceptable state of existence, of having an attraction to kids. Part of why it's nasty is because if you're just painting them that way, they can't really prove they're not. A more concrete accusation of an action can be disproven. Accusations regarding how you feel, harder to shake. Gotta be real certain before you go in like that.
Unless you have meaningful evidence to back it up.
Yep, to be clear, bro's right. I was just adding a bit more.
I do, however, think it's perfectly fine, for instance, to point out that supporters of Donald...
I was gonna say something about the whole notion, like a state of existence versus what you do. Like, I guess I don't know that. Like, there's maybe a way of thinking about that. Because, like, the notion of, okay, so let's take it out of the realm of pedophilia. A person who wants to commit murder but doesn't commit murder isn't a murder, but I guess, I don't know. A drug addict, in spite of the fact that they might not, like, in spite of the fact that they are sober, is still, on some level, like, you would still consider them maybe an addict on some level, and people would say that, like, I'm still an addict, like, that crap is right there the second I let go. And maybe that's a better way to compare it, because, like, people don't usually get all hot and bothered over the notion of murder. It's not the same sort of instinctive drive most of the time, like, unless you're maybe Hannibal Lecter or something. Maybe that would be the distinction there.
Donald Trump are pedophile defenders. We have plenty of...
Yep, to be clear, bro's right. I was just adding a bit more.
I do, however, think it's perfectly fine, for instance, to point out that supporters of Donald Trump are pedophile defenders. We have plenty of evidence that Donald Trump is guilty of this crime, and...
Any of that aside, I would actually relax my standards for public figures and especially politicians.
his supporters, many of whom are not...
That's probably true, like, see, I don't know. Like, at what point do YouTubers become public figures? Right? How big do you have to be before you're like, okay, they're on the same level as a politician, just fame-wise. They can do a lot of they have, like, that same level of influence. How many followers do they have to have before you start to equate them with these other public figures? Like, there might be a fine line there that needs to be walked.
Predators themselves are morally culpable for continuing to support him. You'll notice in the screenshot HO used that SB was doing the latter, not the former.
Ah, not true. The latter was done to Octo. The former was done to anyone he interacts with online. When you say his...
So I think Skittybitty had gotten into some sort of whatever the crap with some sort of online drama with Dr. Octo, who was being mean or accusing them of something. And again, like, on her channel, she was saying, whatever the crap. But then on her Discord, she was telling people to go flag his video. It was a little bit duplicitous. I think that's what Harmful Opinions had maybe initially called out. Could be wrong.
His whole account is simping for Nazi pedophiles. You're saying something about the people he interacts with or says positive things of. Are you a gamer? It's an AoE pedo claim. Hits everyone, especially people that Skitty has previously put a spotlight on Octo in.
For those of you who aren't gamers, I'm pretty sure AoE means area of effect. It's in reference to the damage you do in a video game with whatever character
Interacting with. Are all of them pedophiles with concrete evidence? If he literally only interacts with pedophiles, fair enough, Jesus Christ, but I ain't digging into that. Did you?
Second, let us imagine for a moment that we live in...
Sorry, I'm just glitching out here. AoE, like area of effect, seems kind of vague, because, well, like, I would think of it in terms of like a rather large area effect, like an attack that affects more than one enemy, presumably. Like, maybe that's the only area, or maybe that's the only thing in which you would actually have an AoE. I guess? I assume? Because I assume if you're just damaging someone, then there's like a point of impact, and that's it. I don't know. just feels like it's kind of weird in that an area of effect could be very, very small or in like really large. It could be one enemy or a dozen enemies. Sorry, I'm getting distracted.
But I ain't digging into that. Did you?
Second, let us imagine
With are all of them pedophiles with concrete evidence? If he literally only interacts with pedophiles, fair enough, Jesus Christ. But I ain't digging into that. Did you?
Second,
see, I don't know if it's better to make an accusation against a whole bunch of people or one person individuals, because it feels like if you're just kind of saying, oh yeah, they're a bunch of Nazi pedophiles, what the crap, that might be considered to be just kind of a vague hyperbole type statement. If you make a pointed accusation against one individual, it feels like it could be seen as something that's more serious, like it's an actually serious accusation. If that makes sense. And maybe that's a little bit worse. I don't know. The notion of demonizing people as well, like just in groups, is not great. But
let us imagine for a moment that we live in a world where what H.O. has just said is true.
It is.
He has.
Who calls him H.O.? Some Zoomer bullshit?
Through investigative techniques, uncovered evidence that a YouTuber is guilty of predatory behavior.
Just a YouTube transcript search, and in my opinion, they are.
That's a really fucking weird thing to leave out of your video, ain't it?
No. Alright, let's hear it.
From his perspective, he's created a drama video exposing a YouTuber's inappropriate behavior with kids and left out the alleged smoking gun.
I didn't just leave it out.
Well, again, like, I think the point Harmful Opinions was making, that this was not, it's bad, but it wasn't pedophilia. Like, not everything that's bad is maybe worth saying something about, worth making a serious accusation about, I guess. I think that would be the logic.
I cut it out of the video. Some people noted how severe my language was, despite having shown a milder thing. That's because originally I was talking about that as well, and I had to Frankenstein by recording a bit. Now, I'm looking at this blind, and I want to be fair, so let's listen to some more of what he says. Maybe he does understand or has figured out why.
Remember when Elon Musk got booted out of MAGA for a bit?
What in the fuck?
And posted that Donald Trump was covering up the Epstein files because...
I feel like whatever the crap, you know, the whole Palestine genocide thing is for other individuals, this guy's version of that is Donald Trump. Just saying.
His name was in there, and we collectively had to act like we didn't just watch a guy admit that he'd been covering for a child predator until it was no longer convenient for him.
That whole thing was like, the quaggiest quagmire to ever exist, it feels like. I don't know. Poorly handled at the very least, I imagine.
Oh no, bro, you're being silly here.
Harmful Opinions wants you to think he's the Elon Musk in this situation.
Not really, and in no context would I wish to do that, unless we're talking about wealth.
Casually.
Or intellect, for the record. Elon Musk is pretty smart.
He's sitting on incriminating information until he has a chance to weaponize it.
No, I didn't sit on it. I actually used it instantly, just not to make a YouTube video with. Feel free to disagree with me, but I am not...
See, well, I think Harmful Opinions would have sent some information to what's-their-face, Skittybitty, about it. But I don't know if he put it in his initial video, because I don't know if he thought it was that serious at that point. Why does it look like this skull has, like, warts or something?
Joking when I say how fucked up I think it is for a YouTuber to be talking to someone they believe is 13 like that. I see any fucking YouTuber talking directly to a kid like that. You're getting snitched on. If it helps, imagine it was me talking like that directly to a kid, instead of a little ooh-woo age regression voice plushie role player.
Now,
it's a little bit creepy. Sorry, the whole notion. Maybe VTubers are perfectly fine people, but I hate the fact that some of them do this whole, like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no.
Were I an anti-woke slop tuber, this would be the moment I'd start pedo-jacketing. Why would you cover this up, Mr. Opinion, sir? I'm kind of suspicious, don't you think?
Totally misunderstanding. There's a balance where, if something might be a threat, awareness helps avoiding it, right? But at the same time, if you know stuff you think is real bad is out there, you don't want to draw attention of that person to it until you know the right people have their hands on everything. Like as this guy who's supposedly pumping out anti-woke slop, I could have made that video instantly. Why do you think I waited a week? It's a complicated balance. Feel free to disagree with my...
Okay, so the notion is, yeah. Like, I was just thinking of the equivalent of this would maybe be an extreme example, obviously, but from the show The Mentalist, there was something where there was some sort of pedophile crap going on, and they were effectively, they knew a pedophile was out there, they knew he was doing stuff, but they didn't have enough evidence to get him, so they waited, and yeah, unfortunately there was a guy does another crime, they finally get him on what he needs to be gotten on, or whatever the crap. The question is, like, it's a balance of reward versus consequence. Like, is it possible to get the conviction you want? Is it possible to prove the point you want to prove with regards to blank person? I can kind of get the logic there.
Approach. Feel free to disagree with how severe you think this stuff is. But I wasn't doing that.
Except, of course, I know exactly why he did this.
Absolutely not, because you're a YouTube-brained homunculus.
YouTube drama cycles operate on constantly increasing stakes. Every subsequent video has to make the situation bigger, worse, scarier in some way. H.O. admitted in his original video that he had looked and could find no evidence of real impropriety.
Totally untrue. I commented on the contents of the Discord. I suggested there was no sexual impropriety. There was some borderline stuff with someone with a minor tag talking about, like, who would date who and height and stuff, but I felt it didn't cross a line. Far from saying there was no real impropriety, I pointed out 2 examples. There's minor tags, the kind of thing I've been talking about being a bad idea for about a decade now, a feature which has now been changed. Good, and I suggested when you are so welcoming of minors, as young as 13, you shouldn't be linking them to Nazi pedophiles on Twitter.
But he wanted that sweet, sweet attention and possibly ad revenue.
I don't... People who watch my stream are raging at this guy. Don't encourage the bold fuck to leave more juicy stuff on the table. I'm already too lazy about making videos. Past year, maybe more than a year, I've spiked like half of the videos I've made.
So he left some minor details out.
Pun intended?
I'm assuming spiked in that case means leaving something to get them to take the bait or whatever the crap. Like a sting operation.
To give him an excuse to make a second follow-up video later.
I don't need an excuse to make videos. I would have happily talked about the same thing 5 times if I felt like it. I operate on whims. Actually look through my stuff. I think that's pretty apparent. Just every now and then I get something stuck in my craw.
And double his view count. The excuse he gives is that he left this information out as harm reduction. To translate what that means, he knows it's bullshit.
No, I genuinely think it's totally fucked up. Some fucking weirdo stranger on the internet talking to a kid like that. No. I wasn't joking about feeling a bit fucking ill in my first video. That's not kidding. I wasn't pretending. I sorted...
See, I'm not sure if it comes up in this video, but I think the issue he had with Skittybitty, the problem of not exactly sexual overtures on their part. I don't know what the heck they are on their part, but they were No, I think it comes up in this. Maybe we'll wait. If it doesn't, I'll try to explain.
Advice, and I was advised to report it. I think maybe a fair critique would be that I talked about it at all. Maybe, but like I said, it's sort of a balance. I think people should know. I think it crosses the line into public interest. Again, feel free to disagree.
If he legitimately believed that kids were at risk, harm reduction would have necessitated he share it.
I did. Not in a YouTube video, though. Again, like, I could understand a criticism that you think I didn't wait long enough. But that was my judgment on the balance of...
So maybe I was getting glitched. I thought he was not sharing it because he didn't think it was serious enough at that point in time. But maybe, again, he was just sharing it not, like you said, not in a video. I might have been wrong on that count.
People should know versus I don't want to give someone a chance to sweep stuff up.
Now, of course, even though H.O. has just admitted he's willing to leave...
That's another thing to be considered.
Leave out crucial information if it gives him an excuse to draw things out.
I used to stream for 8 hours a day. I can draw anything out forever if I feel like it with no excuse. Silly. Raped, retarded, ghetto Hollywood YouTube mindset. Content brained.
We should probably look at that crucial information. By virtue of making content about Nintendo games, SB naturally has some kids in their audience.
And I mean, literally everyone does. How you manage that is what matters.
Here's the first relevant piece of investigative journalism in H.O.'s video.
Skitty has also publicly passed a judgment on this young boy's parents, as they are ideological enemies.
This is the thing I was talking about.
Your dad. Go do your chores.
No. His parents are like homophobic, crazy people.
Okay, I'm your internet uncle.
Firstly, nice attempt at censoring the kid's name, but it's on screen. I just went for a standard of censoring any full usernames. But it's genuinely really hard, and I don't blame you because of how plastered with little kids Skitty's content is. Also, regarding the clip, can I just say that's fucking insane to me? Very normal, you know, just a stream where someone's amplifying the complaints of someone who claims to be 13 to thousands of people. Is that not bonkers? Hey guys, check this kid out. They're super fucking vulnerable and very receptive to anyone who validates their complaints about their parents.
That's a little bit goofy.
Let's check it out. What does this guy think about it?
Before we continue, I'd like to clarify something. If you are homophobic and allow that homophobia to influence how you raise your child, you are doing them harm. It doesn't necessarily mean you're an abusive monster or that you're a 100% terrible parent, but you are objectively putting your bigoted feelings over your child's well-being.
And the way to
That's very definitive. I don't know. Like a conservative Christian here, so like, I put it this way. I don't think making your child hate themselves or feel terrible because they, you know, have certain inclinations is a good idea, but yeah. I don't know if I would take his side of things, just as a general rule.
deal with that, of course, is to form some sort of weird, overly familiar personal relationship with a YouTuber, yeah? Yeah?
Harmful Opinions would like to make this a "you just hate Republicans" thing.
I'm impressed. He caught that I was doing something there. Not exactly my intention, though, not quite. The point is to, like, inflame, I guess, people like this guy and push them to be a bit more loose and free with how they justify the behavior of YouTubers. Has he fallen in the trap? Let's see.
But it isn't. This is a simple fact about human societies.
Immediately, it's looking like no, actually. Good job, mate.
I am perfectly willing to entertain ideological disagreements with people and have made it quite clear that we should humanize people we dislike. But I will not compromise on objective reality, and frankly, I refuse to coddle the feelings of...
I just can't help but think these are the type of people who would take scientific inquisitivity to the point of moral insanity, I guess. Like the type of people who say, well, the objective reality says that like, what was it, eugenics? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
homophobic weirdos who care more about their personal vendettas than taking care of their families.
Nice, agree.
Much like it would be fucking asinine to defend neglectful parenting as simply ideological disagreement, it is complete horseshit to defend bigoted parenting.
See, okay, presume he's correct. Presume everything he says is correct, and Skittybitty knows that this is correct about this person's parents. Okay, do you think that's really the sort of thing you should bring up on a stream? Or do you think it'd be better if they brought that thing up to the proper authorities? If they can find out where the kid lives and they know in theory that a kid is being abused by their homophobic parents. He just kind of called out Harmful Opinions for doing the same thing. Now, Skittybitty is a person who knows something about this kid's parents, and instead of doing that, they're talking about it on their stream. Instead of, like, contacting maybe child services or something like that. Presumably, again, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing something that isn't there. But it feels like he's been a little bit duplicitous. Or maybe he just doesn't understand.
That way.
Nice and balanced. Fair enough. Are we going to go any deeper, though, and discuss the reality of the situation where this is occurring, that this is someone claiming to be a kid who is also asking other people who claim to be kids for their Discord details and so on and so forth? You know, appropriate ways to approach this, etc., etc. Looking forward, the answer is no. In a stream last year, Skitty plugged their Discord, and young lamented that he wouldn't be able to join. He doesn't have a card, or I suppose a PayPal or anything that he could use.
This is the part I was thinking about.
To pay for access to get into the private Discord. His parents also presumably wouldn't want him joining the private Discord of a queerness-focused YouTuber. No problem though. Skitty was there to help.
Anyway, if you want to join the Patreon, but you don't have a credit card, what you should do is you should buy yourself a Visa gift card at a store. I'm joking mostly, but I'm actually not really joking. If you are a child and you have crazy homophobic parents and you need to buy anything really, you should buy a Visa gift card because.
Again, like I would say, like I don't know, the whole notion, like I feel like there are a lot of people these days who they're I believe that it comes up in this, the notion of child autonomy. I don't know if children really can or should have autonomy in the fullest sense of the word. I don't think parents should, control, be hyper micromanagerial. But both in the eyes of the law and on a social level, parents possess an extreme degree of culpability for the behavior of the children, right? They have to pay for anything their children breaks. They have to provide for this child's home. They have to provide everything for this child until they reach an age where they can start working, etc., etc. So the notion of children having independence, not really, I guess. And again, short of actual abuse or stuff like that, I would maybe err on the side of giving parents some degree of latitude with regards to telling their kids what to do or what not to do, right? I don't know if that's the right way of looking at it. I just feels like people these days are I don't know. And also, I don't think people necessarily like this are always completely disinterested in the fate of the children involved. I feel like of the people that are perhaps best suited to govern the growth of a child and their development, parents probably the best suited to that job as a general rule.
You could just spend that on anything. You can do that.
This now is the crux of HO's video. This was the horrible secret he was keeping. Now,
Yeah, totally insane, massive red flag behavior between a YouTuber and a child.
I want to recap what we just watched so that we're on the same page. In this stream, the child in question wanted to give a YouTuber money. The YouTuber jokingly explained how to give them money before then acknowledging it as good general advice outside of donating to YouTubers.
Funny way to say, explicitly stated they were not joking. I personally see someone hesitating about what they just said and then biting the bullet.
Yeah, it's kind of totally not serious, but yeah, kind of serious. Because look kind of the way it's coming out.
If you're not a complete hack, it's very easy to see what happened here. Imagine for a moment you run a no-cash business. A potential customer comes up to you and says, "Gosh, I'd love to buy your products, but I only have cash." To which you reply, "Well, if you really want to give me money, you could open up a bank account and get a debit card."
Nope, you're not
Yeah, presumably in this scenario, it's not a 5-year-old who's doing that, and it's not a membership to a club. I don't know, I think it's a fairly labored and or inaccurate metaphor. Anyways, yeah. You guys can check out the rest of this if you want. Addressing the allegations by harmful opinions. Kind of an interesting fellow. Looks a little bit like a gelding or something. So, P.S. Something I want to throw in here at the end. Probably goes without saying. Obviously, I think at some point, parents should start to give their children more independence to allow themselves to maybe ease them into the notion of being independent entirely, becoming an adult. And obviously, hopefully, that the child also becomes more self-sufficient, more self-restrained, and starts taking responsibility. But again, I think I would tend to give the latitude to the parents, especially in scenarios where the child is still very dependent and the parents are still very culpable for their behavior, for taking care of them, etc., etc. So, child autonomy, not so much. Child rights, sure. Child autonomy, eh. Hopefully that made sense. Anyways.